Hi guys, so in today's lecture we will be looking into directive principles of state policy. So I'll be discussing basically the just the main points of the chapter because I'll always recommend reading LAXMIKANTH as a reference material for your preparation. Okay, so the notes are purely based from LAXMIKANTH and I have only added the important points. Okay, so it is the DPSP, it is a part 4 of the constitution from articles 36 to 51. The framers of the constitution, they borrowed it from the Irish constitution in 1937, which had copied from Spanish constitution. Okay, DPSPs along with fundamental rights contain the philosophy of the constitution and are the soul of constitution. So whenever a question is asked in your prelims, uh, what contains the philosophy of the constitution and the soul of the constitution? It is what? Fundamental rights and DPSPs. So what are they? They are the constitutional interactions or recommendations to the legislative, executive and administrative matters. They are the instructions to legislature and executive. Okay, they aim at realizing the high ideals of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity as outlined in the preamble of the constitution. Okay, they embody the concept of welfare state. Okay, we are not a police state. Okay, so I have discussed preamble of a constitution and what are the aims of the DPSPs. They help in realizing the justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. These four elements are given in our preamble. Okay, so in brief, they seek to establish an economic democracy and social democracy in the country. Okay, another important point is that DPSPs are non-justifiable in nature. That is, they are not legally enforceable by the courts for their violation. Okay, but they can use DPSPs while they are making laws. Okay, now we come to socialistic principles of DPSPs. So Article 38. Okay, Article 38 promote social welfare, minimize inequality in income, status and opportunities. Okay, and Article 39 adequate means of livelihood, appropriate distribution of wealth, equal pay for work, equal work. Now Article 39 A, it's another important provision, free legal aid. If you are a poor person, the government will give you money, they will provide you with a lawyer to fight for your case. Okay, now 41, provide the citizens with right to work, right to education, assistance in unemployment, old age, disease and other disabilities. Okay, that is Article 41. Now we come to 42, that is securing just and humane conditions for work, maternity relief. Now Article 43, secure for workers a living wage, a proper condition of work, ensuring a decent standard of life. Okay, now Article 43A, participation of workers in the management of organizations and industries. Okay, now Article 47, raise level of nutrition, standard of life, standard of public health. This should be enhanced in the country. Okay, so while looking at socialistic principles, we can say that basically the DPSPs are meant as a provision in which it ensures that a proper living conditions, proper development of life in the citizens is ensured. That is ensured by following DPSPs in lawmaking. Now we come to Gandhian principles. What are the principles adopted from Gandhian ideals? So these are organization of village panchayats, that is Article 40, promote cottage industry, to promote cooperative societies, that is Article 43B. Okay, now Article 46, promotion of education and economic interest to ST, SC, OBC, etc. Okay, prohibition of intoxicating drinks and drugs that are injurious to health. In many states like Gujarat and all, we can find that they have proper ban on liquor consumption or alcohol consumption. Okay, these ideals are taken from where? From the Gandhian principles in DPSP. Okay, slaughter of cows. Recently, I think last year or the year before, we released a law based on the banning of the slaughter of cattle in, especially in Karnataka, Goa. Okay, all these areas. These ideals come from where? From again from DPSP. That is Article 48. Now we come to Article 50. Okay, it is a very crucial article. What does it say? To separate judiciary from the executive in public services of the state. To promote international peace and security and maintain, this is Article 51, okay, which I am saying now. That is to promote international peace and security and maintain just and honorable relations between nations. To foster respect for international law and treaty obligations and to encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. So, whenever a question comes, is there any part in the constitution that talks about international relations or peaceful international relations? It is DPSP, especially Article 51. Okay. Now, 42nd Amendment Act that added 4 new directive principles to secure opportunities of healthy development of children, that is Article 39, to promote equal justice and to provide free legal aid. We have discussed it earlier. Article 39A, legal aid. This was added in 42nd Amendment. Okay, to take steps to secure participation of workers in the management of industries. Article 43A. Again, we are discussing all this. To protect and improve the environment and to safeguard forest and wildlife, that is Article 48A. Article 48 deals with cattle slaughter and Article 48A deals with wildlife and forest. Okay, now we come to the next amendment, that is 44th Amendment, that added another DPSP that requires a state to minimize inequalities in income, status, facilities and opportunities. That is Article 38. The 86th Amendment Act of 2002, this is the latest addition to DPSP, okay, that changed the subject matter of Article 45 and made elementary education a fundamental right. Okay, earlier the right to education was in DPSP under what? Under Article 45. What happened? They added another Article 21A in the fundamental rights, that is in the part 3 of the Constitution, and made it a fundamental right. Okay, 97th Amendment of 2011 added a new DPSP relating to cooperative societies. Okay, why was DPSP non-justiciable and legally not reinforceable? This is a question that most of you might be asking now. These are good principles. Why is that we are not legally bound to do it? The country did not, when we created DPSP, when the framers of the constitution created DPSPs, the country did not possess sufficient financial resources to implement them. Okay, the presence of vast diversity and backwardness in the country would stand in a way for their implementation. The newly born independent Indian state, with its many preoccupations, might be crushed under the burden unless it was free to decide the order, time, and place, the mode of filling them. Even during the time when the constitution was being drafted, you know, that time when there was a communal riot going on. Okay, so the constitution makers knew that in the future, when the things calm down a bit, that the division between the classes or caste, between religion, all these tendencies tend to cease down, we can implement DPSPs. Okay, DPSPs can lead to constitutional conflict between president and prime minister, and similarly governor and chief minister. Just remember this. Okay, DPSPs and fundamental rights. They are supplementary to the fundamental rights of the citizen. They are intended to fill the vacuum in part 3 by providing social and economic rights. Now we come to the timeline. Okay, first one, in the Chempakam Durerajan case, that's the first case, the Supreme Court ruled that in case of conflict between fundamental rights and DPSPs, fundamental rights will prevail. Now what happened? In Golaknath case, Supreme Court ruled that Parliament cannot take away or abridge any of the fundamental rights. which are sacrosanct, that is, they cannot be changed in nature. Okay, that is, court held that the fundamental rights cannot be amended for implementation of DPSPs. That is said in Golaknath case. In Chambaganture, the Rajan case also it said that in the case of fundamental rights and DPSPs, fundamental rights will prevail. Now what happened? In the 25th Amendment Act, what happened? No law which seeks to implement the socialistic ideals or DPSPs in Article 39B and C shall be void on the ground of contravention of the fundamental rights conferred in the Article 14 and 14, 19 and 31. Okay, wait. Now we will look into what is Article 39B and C. Article 39B is what? The state shall in particular direct its policies towards securing what? The ownership and control of the material resources of the community are so distributed in best to subserve the common good. Okay, that the operation of the economic system did not result, that now 39C is operation of the economic system does not result in the concentration of wealth and means of production to the common detriment. So when these two aspects come into being, Article 14, that is right to equality, Article 19, freedom, and Article 31 are compromised. Now what happened? In Minerva Mills case, Supreme Court found that the Indian Constitution is founded on the bedrock of the balance between DPSPs and fundamental rights. Okay. In Minerva Mills, we said that what happened? Whenever we needed to implement Article 39B and C, what happened? Article 14, 19, they were, what happened? They could be changed, they could be removed for their implementation. In Mineral Mills, again, that the case resulted what? They provided a new path for the Supreme Court, that the Constitution is founded on the bedrock between the balance between DPSPs and fundamental rights. Okay, wait, I think I missed a few part. Okay, okay. Again, I'll go again from the 22nd Amendment Act. No law that seeks to implement the socialistic DPSPs in Article 39B and 39C would be void on the ground of contravention of the fundamental rights conferred in the 14 and 19 and 31 articles, and judicial review is not applicable. That was given in 25th Amendment Act. Now what happened? The Keshava and the Bharati case came to be. The Supreme Court declared that the second point, this one, the judicial review point, they held it as unconstitutional and held judicial review supreme. Now in 42nd Amendment accorded the position of legal primacy and supremacy to the DPSP over fundamental rights. Okay. Now in Minerva Mills case, what happened? It corrected again and DPSP made subordinate to fundamental rights. In Keshavananda Bharati, in 42nd Amendment Act, again DPSP was put ahead than fundamental rights. But in Minerva Mills, again they corrected again and said that DPSP is subordinate to fundamental rights. But the fundamental rights conferred to Article 14 and 19 were accepted as subordinate to DPSPs, specified in 39B and 39C. I hope it is clear. Before that, I think I missed a few points. That's why I went again back to the 25th Amendment Act. Okay. And the goals set out by the DPSPs have to be achieved without abrogation of the means provided by fundamental rights. Fundamental rights enjoy supremacy over DPSPs. Parliament can amend the fundamental rights for implementing DPSPs, as long as the amendment does not change or destroy the basic structure of the Constitution. Now we come to the implementation of DPSPs. Lok Adalat was established to provide equal justice. Okay, what is Lok Adalat? It is a statutory form of conciliatory settlement of legal disputes. It has been given the status of civil court. Its awards are enforceable, binding on the parties, and final, as no appeal lies before a court against them. Okay, the decisions made in Lok Adalatas are final and no appeal can be given out. Okay, and they are also enforceable. They are actually basically a mechanism to ease the burden of the courts. Now, the 73rd Amendment Act has been enacted to provide constitutional status and protection to the Panchayati Raj institutions. Okay, to these Panchayati Raj institutions. Untouchability Act of 1955, which was renamed to Protection of Civil Rights Act, and the SC/STs Act of 1989 have been enacted to protect SCs and STs from social injustice and exploitation. Okay, the 65th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1990 established the National Commission for SCs and STs. So these are basically some of the examples of implementation of DPSP. Now, the Criminal Procedure Code of 1973 separated judiciary from the executive in the public services of the state. After separation, judicial powers were taken away from the executive authorities and vested in the hands of district judicial magistrates who work under the direct control of the state high court. In directives outside Part 4, development of Hindi language. Okay. Article 351 is another article which is outside DPSP, where it talks about the development of Hindi language. Okay. So I hope today's session was productive for you guys. So until next time, we see you again. God bless you all. Jai Hind.